Hey there, it's BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thanks for coming out. It is Saturday, and we are playing a little bit more Ace Attorney Investigations. So the last time we were doing things, there was a murder on a plane. And I am one of the possible culprits, depending on if I can find anybody to pin it on. Hello, Mario. How you doing? So I think we're just going to dive directly into that, because I'm interested in seeing how this pans out. So give me a second, let me swap out all the things. Now, I was musing before I started the stream tonight. Here, let me just start up the capture thingy. There we go. Now, I was just musing about the fact that the copyright on this is 2009. Good God. This game is almost 10 years old. Which is scary. And also, it reminds me of just how long it's taken me to actually get to playing a whole bunch of these games. The killer should have thrown the body off easy. No one would know. Pretty sure there are several alarms when it comes to those emergency doors. But, whatever. Okay. Let me turn that down in my own ears. I think the audio is balanced. I've done 2 of these DS titles before. Like, you know, just like 2 DS streams. And I think I've got the audio on point for this. If it's not, let me know. Anyways, yes, last we left off, we were here. March 12th, 2:52 p.m., flight I-390, lower deck, cargo hold. Wow, so this is the cargo hold, huh? And he's off. It's like a child in the candy store. It's so big! Hello, sir. This plane is a special model. It has both a super large cargo hold and an ultra luxurious first class seating. So, is this the real scene of the murder? There is certainly a high probability of that, which is why we are here, correct? Okay, let's get investigating, sir. Right then. See what we can find. Well, first off, this officer seems to be down here. Hi, have you found a thing? Oh, I guess I looked at the suitcase first. Cool. The audio's a little loud in my own ears, so... Dropped it. Hey, what's with the suitcase, pal? It's what the victim checked in, sir. So this suitcase belonged to Mr. Hicks? I don't think he'd mind if we took a closer look. There's nothing out of the ordinary in here, sir. Wait, a file? And there's a photo of Miss Von Karma in it, sir. That seems suspicious. It looks like a profile on Franziska. Why did Mr. Hicks have a document on Franziska in his possession? Good freaking question. Why would Mr. Hicks have had a file on her? I don't know. Let's have a chat with you, eh? Have you noticed anything strange happening around here? No, sir. I haven't noticed a thing. I'm not sure that he meant to sound so oblivious. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of cargo boxes. All sorts of boxes are piled up here. This one says flammable, and this one it says pharmaceuticals. And this one says for exorcism use only. Just what kind of operation is this airline running? Good question. Are we going to find the atom bomb too? Jesus Christ. That's a lot of gaudy suitcases. Holy suitcases, Mr. Edgeworth. It's like an all-you-can-eat use suitcase. Not all you could eat. These must be all the leftover ones they couldn't sell. The ones the company is planning to dispose of after the flight's over. Maybe they'll use all the flammable shit in that crate. This paint job is really cool, don't you think? It practically screams artsy. Oh, why not purchase one then? I'm sure it'll bring you much happiness. You think so? Oh, maybe I will. Let me see here. $1,200! I think I'll pass. And Mr. Nero wonders why they don't sell. You need 2 jobs just to buy one. Good God. In this economy, you at least need 3. It definitely looks like one is missing. What's this brittle substance I'm stepping on? It's a bunch of glass fragments. Oh, weird. How did glass get all the way down here? Alright. Bed sheets. Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew.
This sure brings back memories of when I worked as a part-time mover, sir.
By the look in his eyes, he's waiting for me to ask about the rest of the story. But no matter how he pours on the puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. Aw. I kind of want to hear the story, honestly. Like, what the heck do they have you hauling? Alright. Well, here's the elevator door.
Oh, I just love pushing the buttons on elevators and crosswalk signals. Here, you should give it a try, sir. Go on, push it.
The elevator is currently stopped on the first floor, Detective. It can't move.
Oh, yeah. I guess nothing would happen if you pushed it now.
Well, nothing would happen normally anyway without the special keycard. Both the door to the attendant's room and the elevator's control panels require a keycard, which makes it impossible for a passenger to come down here. Yes, sir. This is A2. We've already looked in there. Wow. Very scarce on evidence down here. I guess I would probably look at some evidence a little closer and then maybe do logistics. Oh yeah, we got the suitcase receipt thing. Can we look at it a little bit closer? Just as Miss Tenero said, the timestamp says she bought the suitcase at 5:40 a.m. Alright. Any blood on it? Nah, probably not. Very plain receipt. Okay. Yeah, alright. So, let me look at my logic real quick. Good God, did you hear those sirens? Oh my God, hey, broken glass. Yeah. Broken glass. That looks like it connects. Got it. I think we can safely conclude that these fragments are from a pair of glasses.
And the victim was wearing a pair of broken glasses.
Exactly what I was thinking. I'm sure that the shards would match up perfectly with the remnants of his glass lenses. Ergo, the victim was here, just as I suspected.
So you're saying that the real scene of the crime was here, sir?
Isn't that what I've been saying for a while now? Yes.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Perhaps it's a bit early to draw that conclusion. However, I believe that the probability has just skyrocketed considerably. All that's left is to find the murder weapon. Well, what the heck would that be? And why do we have a profile on Franziska? Alright, maybe... let's talk to Doof.
Yes, sir?
You notice anything?
This cargo hold's really big. I can't believe they fit stuff like that in here.
Detective, what are you going on about? What in the middle of... We're in the middle of an investigation here.
Whoa, stuff's falling on me. Oh, I can't get really into my work without something like this happening first. Well, let's get this show on the road. So, which item do you want to start on?
In this world, there are those who are masochists, and then there is Gumshoe. The lie.
So, that flight attendant, Rhoda Tanero, she's the killer, isn't she?
I have no idea at this point. I don't think we can say for sure yet. But there certainly are a great number of things pointing us in that direction.
You mean like how she didn't tell us about her buying her own suitcase?
Yes, however, in regards to the keycard being stolen, I can't seem to find any evidence that she's lying about that. Yeah. Wonder if I can present anything to you. The killer is Salmonella. I agree. Somehow. Maybe he's got some horrible telepathy. Lolzers! What do you think about this thing? Detective Gumshoe, this is...
Oh, is that for me? Oh, you shouldn't have, but I'll gladly take anything you want to give to me.
Hands off, Detective. This item is related to the case.
Oh. So, about it. Did you want to ask me about it?
Show Gumshoe my badge. Good idea. Forget I asked, Detective.
Very well. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, I think something just fell out of your pocket. What are you... So, did something fall out or not? I didn't, get a good look, sir. It doesn't concern you, so don't worry about it. My prosecutor's badge, of all things, Gumshoe must never know I dropped it.
And yet we all know. Huh. Interesting. Anything about this?
So, this design. It's so postmodern, sir.
I think it's post-society and post-anything sensible. Postmodern, you say?
Yeah, especially this alien-shaped handle here. You can really feel a connection.
A connection. Right. Detective, please stop with your horrible impression of an art critic.
I was only telling you my honest feelings, sir.
They're not good opinions. Alright, well, what do you think about this? Oh, shit. Nope, nope. You cannot have the bloody rag. I have no idea. I have no idea if anything else... God, I forget if I presented anything else to Gumshoe. Oh, no, I don't think so, considering I just recently met him after I landed off the plane. But he seems pretty empty about everything. It's Gumshoe. That's not surprising. Where do you think we would find this cell phone, sir? We need to get the number, and then we need to call it.
Oh, what is this? This raccoon-looking thing?
It's not a raccoon. It's the mascot of iFly Airlines. His name is Mr. iFly, and apparently he's supposed to be a monkey.
That's a monkey? I didn't even know that. That looked more like a bear. Oh, I'm feeling some inspiration coming on. I'm gonna make a piggy bank out of the police mascot, the Blue Badger. And whenever there's any loose change lying around the precinct, he can go in there.
Sure, sounds great. As long as it isn't any of my money. I suppose it would help lighten the load on some of his bills. Yeah, that's straight up... God. Actually, like, it looks like a combination between a bear, maybe a raccoon, a flying squirrel. Studley man? No, you don't care. What do you think about this nice little flying establishment? Nah. Whatever. I know how this works. Just rub every piece of evidence into everybody's faces, and eventually they give you dialogue. Unless they never give you dialogue and you're spinning in circles, which that's also possible too. Okay. Well, then I guess that just means that there's something else sitting around here that I haven't found. Maybe this tarp has something to do with it. Is this an old one? Oh, large... Okay, this is a new one.
This thing's as tall as two of you on top of each other, sir.
It would probably take 20 of you to cover the entire surface of this monstrosity.
Well, really? You? Yeah, I guess that sounds about right.
There's really no need to take that throwaway estimate seriously, Detective. Okay, nothing about that. Maybe there's something on the ladder that I didn't check out. Or maybe I can look in the suitcase again.
Hey, what's in the suitcase, pal?
Victim checked in? No, okay, I think this is the old one. Nothing out of the ordinary except a piece of paper talking about Franziska. Come to think of it, maybe she has something to say about that. Hi. You arrived at the scene of the crime before Detective Gumshoe, correct? And then you immediately began to direct the investigation? Seems to me that you were already here at this airport for something besides the murder. Yes, I was. Why at this airport? I've been following a very large and involved governmental-level international crime. But That's much too large for one person to take on alone. So it's decided that I should form a joint investigation with Interpol. Oh, neat. Well, that explains the piece of paper.
Interpol is involved?
It's a top-secret operation, so I really can't tell you any more than I already have. Pretty well. I wonder what would happen if I presented the piece of paper with her name and all her stuff on it. Oh, wait, no. Actually, yeah, no, I can't do that yet, because I don't have it as evidence. But I can combine two things. Hey, Freddy, I'm a lawyer. Yeah. Now, why would Mr. Hicks have documents profiling Franziska?
Oh, I know. I bet he's a big fan of Miss Von Karma, sir.
No. This is not some daily soap, Mr. Gumshoe. At least, not that they know. For us, it's the best soap. Franziska said that she had come to this airport as part of an Interpol investigation.
Oh, maybe Mr. Hicks had heard she was coming here and he followed her.
Detective, I think it's more likely that Mr. Hicks was in actuality Interpol agent Hicks. I think Franziska has some explaining to do. Oh, that explains a lot. So now you probably have a dialogue open. Alright, I will show a badge. There's something much more urgent we should be dealing with right now. Don't waste my time on yours. Okay, she doesn't care. Alright then. Let's have a chat. You came to this airport to rendezvous with the victim, didn't you? Nonsense! What are you talking about? We found a profile detailing information about you and the victim's luggage. I suppose it was prepared for him so that he could recognize you when he landed. Which makes him not Mr. Hicks, but rather Interpol Agent Hicks. Isn't that correct? I should have known you'd figure it out, Miles. But it looks like they got to him first. So you really did come here to receive an Interpol agent, then? Yes. Agent Hicks was on the trail of a very large international smuggling ring. Ooh. All right, can we uncrate boxes now? Yes. Franny is a boring. He went undercover to investigate this crime. And it was I who put him on this case. I was supposed to receive a call from him on his cell phone once he had landed. I never expected to receive a call about his murder instead. Still have not found the phone. I think we now have pretty definitive evidence that Agent Hicks came down here to the cargo hold.
But what was he doing down here, sir? There's nothing but luggage. Oh, I get it. Maybe he forgot something in his suitcase and came down to get it.
Maybe. He was probably goaded down there. So if you didn't send him here, he'd be alive. It's your fault! Objection!
No!
Agent Hicks came here for a work-related reason. Of that, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure he was here to investigate the smuggling operation he was observing. Franziska, do you know exactly how he intended to pursue his investigation? No, unfortunately. I was going to find out from him after he landed. I see. But this raises another question. A normal passenger can't access the cargo hold on their own. So he stole an ID in some way. Agent Hicks must have identified himself to a member of the crew and entered the cargo hold with that permission who let him in. Oh, so he knows the pilot, maybe? And then this pilot has got some explaining to do. Yes, and then he was murdered here. These glass fragments are his broken glasses. Oh, and his broken glasses are a testament to that. And then the killer put Agent Hicks into one of the spare suitcases, and they entered the elevator, but while they were riding it up, the plane hit that patch of turbulence. Because of the intense shaking, the suitcase popped open, and Agent Hicks's body flew out. Boy, those are some shoddy locks.
At the same time, his wallet fell out of his pocket, spilling its contents everywhere. Which explains why there was money scattered all over the elevator floor.
I don't know. This seems like a whole lot of conjecturous nonsense with no proof. I think it's oh, oopsies, I skipped that. Oh well.
What, really, sir?
I know what you're thinking, Miles Edgeworth. But the killer can be none other than Miss Rhoda Tenero. We'll see. Definitive evidence. If it was a crew member, any one of them could have shown Agent Hicks to the cargo hold. But the point to keep in mind is the keycard that allows the elevator to come down here. The only person with such high-level access is Miss Rhoda Tenero. I'd say that's a pretty decisive piece of information, wouldn't you?
I know what she's trying to say, but I'm not certain it's as simple as that.
Let's see where the hole is. I guess it's time to just press on stuff. Screw it. Tradition. A save once saves not like, you know, saves 9 hours later. It's not that painful to just do it. Press.
That might be true, but then it could be anyone, including Miss Meal or even the captain.
Don't be a fool. A plane without a pilot in the cockpit is like a horse without a rider, crop in hand, much like Scruffy over there.
I can't disagree with her on that. Detective Gumshoe does always need a guiding hand.
That's kind of mean. He does pretty good with getting down to his investigated places. There, give him some slack.
Very well, then what about the other flight attendant to Miss Meal?
I thought you might ask about her. But the point to keep in mind is the keycard that allows the elevator to come down here.
But it's highly likely that the keycard was stolen from Miss Tenero.
It's highly likely. Is that possibility the best you can come up with? You call yourself a disciple of my father.
Yes, well, I don't have any evidence, like...
Be quiet! You're a disgrace. There's more evidence pointing to Miss Rhoda Tenero, you know. It's not just the keycard that gives her away. God, she's so angry.
Are you talking about the murder weapon, the Mr. I-Fly piggy bank?
Yes! She's also the only person with a key to open that display case. I mean, you didn't really need to open the display case. Further, there is the matter of the key to the display case that... Oh, hello, we've opened up a thing. I think.
But that is a fake...
Stop right there, Miles Edgeworth! You don't have any proof that this is just a red herring. If you must keep on insisting that it's a fake, then what is the real murder weapon, and where did it go? Ah, speechless, I see. That's not a surprise. After all, you know that we've searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed.
There must be a way. There must be something that can help me rule out the piggy bank as the murder weapon. What should be examined further to help ascertain the authenticity of the weapon?
That's a good question. Where did it come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Where did it come from? Where did it go? It went to a locked display case, Cotton Eye Joe. What should be examined further to help ascertain the authenticity of the weapon? I'm thinking about that one. The piggy bank itself, I mean, piggy bank and body kind of go hand in hand, considering the piggy bank, you examine the piggy bank and it has... There's a part of me that kind of feels like it might be the crime scene, because I feel like piggy bank and body have already been covered. and they're kind of mixed and intertwined. And if we're trying to think outside the box, this crime scene itself might be a good place to examine this.
I think we should examine the crime scene in more detail. We might turn up the murder weapon if we search all of the cargo and luggage.
Did you think I hadn't thought of that? Even now I was searching through them. But we haven't found anything that even closely resembles a murder weapon.
Just... Alright then.
I suppose we should examine something else. Oh boy, okay, I was wrong there. Has the body been thoroughly examined just yet? Or actually, maybe we could... Alright. Body is going to take some... it's not going to be an instantaneous check. And we're going to need some forensic and scientific investigation. So, I think the piggy bank might be the first thing.
We should examine the bank itself once more to determine if it is the real murder weapon. If this is the real weapon, it should be damaged, or perhaps have a dent on it somewhere.
We've looked into that already, and there's no sign of anything on it. But we can't discount it as the murder weapon on that one fact alone. The piggy bank is, after all, made of a stronger material than human flesh. Oh, damn it! Okay, then I guess it's the freaking body.
Franziska, I think you were too quick to jump to your conclusions.
Oh, was I? I mean, I was pretty quick to jump to conclusions with the answers I just gave.
Yes, we don't even have the autopsy results yet. How can I not say that you made a snap judgment when you had yet to even see if the wound on Agent Hicks's head is consistent with the murder weapon?
Okay, fine. Scruffy!
Yes, sir?
Contact the medical examiner's office at once! I wish to hear the results of Agent Hicks's autopsy.
Yes, sir!
Goodbye. Whoosh, and away. Like the cake crusader he is.
We got a big problem, Mr. Edgewood, sir!
Sup? What? What's wrong?
What is it, Detective? They're still doing the autopsy, but they said that they already know this one thing for... There's one thing for sure, yeah.
Report now.
The doc said it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. From the victim's shoulder to his mid-back? He was beaten over such a wide area? Well, I'd say maybe it's a sign the killer had a grudge against Agent Hicks. It wasn't just his head. The killer went all out and hit him multiple times, sir.
Multiple hits, eh? Maybe he got hit by a crate. Anybody factor that in? Scruffy? What is had a grudge against Agent Hicks supposed to mean?
Hey, well, that's, Was the wound on the victim's head consistent with the murder weapon, Detective? Oh, well, they said they were still looking into that, sir.
You're completely useless. I have some information, though. Sir, I told you already, you can't go down there. Oh, boy. Oh, Jesus. No, you remove yourself from my way.
What is all that racket?
Howdy, friend. My luggage, my cargo, they're mine, and I demand you return them to me. We're still investigating the cargo hold. Please understand and have a little patience. I suppose there is no choice. Finally, I think you get... Hey, what are you... You have left me no choice but to use strong force. Arrgh! You won't get past me. Oh, shit.
This is... Wait, that's it. So that's what this whole thing has been about.
Further, there's the matter of the key to the display case that held the murderous bank. Wait, what's going on here? Jesus. After all, you know that we've searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed.
The dog said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back.
Wow. All this stuff's really flashing into my eyes at once here. Oh, dear. Okay, connect thoughts. Some way to prove that this isn't the real murder weapon. The weapon couldn't be found. Alright. Actually, it might not be that one. Maybe I'm supposed to connect, like, everything here properly. Let me see. Is there some way to... Okay, so... Agent Hicks was on the trail of an international smuggling ring. Extensive bruising from back of head down to mid-back. I know exactly where we're going with this. I mean, there's enough... what do they call it? There's enough symbolism to sink a ship. So... Let me think. Alright, cause of death. I mean, okay. So, some way to prove that this isn't the real murder weapon. Well, the entirety of the wound itself is way too large, and it doesn't look like it's multiple hits. So, I would say the cause of death would be the proof of the fact that the piggy bank is not the murder weapon. Yes! Okay. Allegedly, the killer struck the victim many times over, which is why there is extensive bruising over such a wide area. But is that really the correct conclusion to draw from this evidence? The bruise from his shoulder to the middle of his back is one continuous mark, which is more suggestive of a single blow to the back. If that's the case, then the piggy bank is much too small to have caused that. Therefore, the murder weapon must be something far bigger. And now I need to match up some more stuff. Agent Hicks was on a trail of an international smuggling ring. I think that's kind of by itself. I feel like the sizable weapon and weapon couldn't be found might be the things that connect. Whatever. I can only get this wrong like 3 times, twice. No, I got it. If we're looking for a rather large weapon, you'd think it would stick out. But so far, we haven't found anything that resembles a weapon of any sort. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's something we all overlooked from the very beginning. Because normally, it's too impossibly big to be taken into consideration. A giant crate.
Dude, what was that all about? Was he trying to jump his way down here? Franziska!
What? What do you want? I found it, Franziska. I found the real murder weapon. You did?
He really jumped.
He's so goddamn distracted. We didn't realize it until now, but the answer has been right in front of us this whole time.
He might be hurt. We should go check up on him, sirs.
There's that pompous attitude of yours again. You should learn to drop that habit. This coming from a prosecutor with a habit of whipping everyone she comes across. Anyway, yeah, you're just proving this point. If you really are a prosecutor, then you'll back yourself up with evidence.
You two aren't listening at all, are you?
Come on, then. Show me this real murder weapon you speak of. Well... I mean... I kind of wonder if maybe he was hit by a suitcase. That'd be hilarious if that were the case. There's a part of me that feels like he fell. Like, that was a very big indication that was probably what it was, and he just, like, fell very awkwardly on a box. But the fact that there is a suitcase... He fell, like, right there on the suitcases, and his glasses broke right there. This is the real murder... let me see. The real weapon is
This suitcase.
When you say it with such confidence, I suppose you must have some evidence.
Of course. Agent Hicks was placed into this suitcase alive. And it was while he was in here that he was beaten in the head.
I wonder if you would die if I whipped you from head to toe right now.
Oh, shit. What are you thinking, woman? Of course I would.
Alright, it was... Wide bruises running from the victim's shoulder down to his mid-back. What could cause such a large bruise in one strike? Again, I feel like I don't have any evidence. Where was this photo taken, by the way? A very long time ago. It was located in a museum. So, I don't think that would be useful here. Again, I don't have a piece of evidence that's large enough to do that, so... I'd like to say I don't have the evidence. I don't have any evidence to show you.
Foolish reasoning for a foolish fool from a foolishly foolish fool meant to fool me! What do you mean by I don't have any evidence to show?
Perhaps I should phrase it as that which caused Agent Hicks' death is incorporeal. Forgive me, but I do believe I have figured out what was the real cause of death. Free fall! The victim fell from a great height and subsequently died as a result. In other words, the real cause of death is free falling to the ground.
He fell to his death?
Yes, this is the only plausible possibility. The victim has extensive bruising on the back of his head and his back. And the only rational explanation for these injuries is that he fell to his death.
But the murder happened inside the plane!
I know.
Are you claiming that there's some place in this plane from which he could have fallen from?
Yes! Did you not see the Borginian man fall from the sky? As I said earlier, the answer has been right in front of us the entire time.
You can't mean...
Yes, I do. The victim fell from the top of the stairs of this very cargo hold.
What? Then, we're in trouble. We may have a second death on our hands, sirs.
And there he goes.
Hey, you! Tell me you want dead, pal!
Quiet! Why are you screaming? Okay, nope. He's alive. Damn it. And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. It's not possible that Agent Hicks fell over the railing to his death. That man is living proof of that. I mean, you could fall more spectacularly. There's no proof. I suppose it's true that it's not possible, given the current circumstances.
That
current circumstances? What is that supposed to mean? Suppose that large piece of cargo wasn't there at the time. What would have happened then?
He would have been a Borginian pancake for sure, sir.
I suppose that man over there wouldn't still be breathing. But the reality is that the cargo box is there.
So there's no point in entertaining your wild, hypothetical scenarios.
It may be there now, but there's no proof that it was always there.
If there could have been a window of time when the giant box was not there.
Ah, but there was. What? I'm confusing the ever-loving hell out of her, and it's great. What can I use to show her that it's possible the box was not always where it is now? Good question. Oh, hey, wait a minute. I know. Brief stop to refuel the transfer cargo in the refuel and transfer cargo in the Republic of Zenfa between 4 and 5. We ask that all passengers remain on board at that time. Yup. They were transferring cargo, so there is a chance that that thing wasn't there. You refueled in the Republic of Zenfa? Yes, this flight had a short layover in Zegfa in order to refuel. But that wasn't the only reason for the layover. We also transferred some cargo. What if the box in question was only transferred onto the plane at that time?
To further prove my point, let's take a look at what's next to the box in question.
Oh. Oh, neat. I didn't even notice that crap.
Oh, it's labeled Zhengfa Express.
Correct. Meaning it was loaded onto the plane in Zhengfa. Neato. Completely missed that, but sweet.
Now, what if the box in question was also loaded on at the same time?
It would mean that the box was not here in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zhengfa leg of the flight,
making a clear drop from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death entirely possible.
Ah, but your theory is still very far-fetched.
That'd allow me to change to prove a chance to prove how very likely my scenario is. My first order of business would be to examine that piece of cargo in more detail.
Very well. How do we move that? We need some equipment. Very well.
This is a rather large piece of cargo. There's a tag on it, sir. Let's see here. Aleph Red Statue. Never heard of it. Nor I. But all I care about is if we can prove it wasn't here at the time of the crime. Then let's get investigating, sir.
Oh boy, Borginian. Hi. Oh, is this yours? Look here! Do not go about touching my possessions without my permission!
Don't rush up on me like that, pal!
So this belongs to Mr. LeBlanc, does it? I should see what else I can find out from him. Cool. Let's make the piggy squeal.
I take it that this large piece of cargo belongs to you, Mr. LeBlanc?
Of course it is mine. I shipped this fine piece of art from Europe. This Aleph Red statue is worth 10 million cents. No, maybe much, much more.
Mr. LeBlanc's reason for choosing this plane must have been the large cargo hold. 10 million cents?
I suggest you stop trying to calculate how many packets of noodles that makes, Detective.
Don, how'd you do that?
We read you like a book.
I feel like you keep getting better and better at seeing right through me every year.
Though I grow with each revolution of the planet around the sun, I have the distinct impression he continues to madly spin in place.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, so that 10 million cents, is that in euros or in dollars? This doesn't really make a difference in our case.
10 million is 10 million. That's a lot of millions.
Mr. LeBlanc, there's a chance that your cargo is related to our murder case. I was wondering if you would allow us to examine it a bit closer.
It is a very valuable piece of art, so no, there will be no touching. That's interesting that you say is a very... I do wonder, I feel like Mr. Red Eyes in the back over there, I wonder if that's going to come into play. Actually, yeah, how about we just... Screw it, let's present the thing. Why do you show me something of no value? Oh, come on. Show me the bread first and maybe we will talk.
Wait, he wants me to pay him before he'll comment on this.
Is there anything I could present to him? Probably not. Maybe some information. Hey, you just said that thing had much value. Does he know I'm a lawyer? Maybe. Kind of want to connect those two, but I'm also very curious about this. Oh, whoops. Do not go about touching my possessions without permission. Sorry. I suppose I'll have to first appease Mr. LeBlanc if I want to examine it in more detail. Sorry, Gumshoe is like very close by. Very well. I can say you have the guts to show me a piece of art at this time. But from a single glance, I can already tell it is mostly worthless. This has much more value as a piece of non-art, I assure you. You look like you have something to say. Perhaps you are thinking, like casting pearls before swine. You actually hit the nail on the head for once. No. I'd like to try this out real quick. Because they were on a trail on an international smuggling. This is a very valuable piece of art. Wonder if these are somehow connected. Hey! Nice! If Mr. LeBlanc has something to do with the smuggling ring, then it's possible this fake statue was brought on board in Zhangfa. I think I need to question him a bit further. Goody goody. So, hey. Oh, whoopsies. Wrong button. About your statue, Mr. LeBlanc. I wonder if I might... it might be a fake. What? How dare you say my art is fake? I suspect that your statue might be the target of an international smuggling ring. Don't say such fantastical things. These thieves would not dare. I have the certification of my cargo right here. Do you mean the cargo certification document? Mr. Cinq LeBlanc, why didn't you say so earlier? Please show it to us at once. Good, good. Does anybody have a photocopier? I can't read this. What does it say? It says as plain as day. The cargo was put onto the plane in Europe. And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. Too bad for you. This statue was brought on board in Europe, just as it states in this certificate. No, that's... Which means that there never was a window of time in which the statue wasn't sitting there. Let's try and break that, shall we? I respectfully disagree. We can't discount the theory until I see the statue for myself. Then you can have your wish. Look at it yourself and see I am right. Ooh, very pretty. It is in glass. I wonder if that's going to factor into anything. This... I know I've seen this somewhere before.
This is the Aleph Red. It gives off such a feeling of art. I can practically smell it.
The statue has a high amount of historic value. After it was unveiled at a museum in Europe, I brought it to this country to exhibit it. Cool. I believe a closer look is warranted here. Very well. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So, this is the infamous Aleph Red statue.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Did you find something?
There's something wrong with this picture. We should examine it in more detail. I won't rest until I find every nook and cranny. Are these eyes made of some sort of gem?
That's a real nice shade of orange. For a sec, I couldn't even tell they were jewels. Oh, but they kind of remind me of the eyes of this stray cat that lives near my house.
God damn it, Gumshoe. Are the eyes supposed to be this color? Is it possible the statue is a fake? Yes. Guaranteed. I swear I've seen this somewhere before.
No wonder this thing is worth 10 million cents. Look at how it sparkles, sir.
I wouldn't call it sparkling, detective. Maybe more along the lines of dully shining. Alright, yes. Edus. Oh shit, no. Not that spot. Not that spot specifically. I forgot, I need to actually hold my cursor on this. Yes! And it'd be this picture. Because that's clearly a red gem in the real one. These eyes are awfully orange, don't you think?
Yeah, and pretty. They remind me of sunsets when I was in grade school, sir.
I don't think you see what I'm talking about.
No, I do, but it's really like the color of the sun when it's setting, sir. Ah, the memories. Like the corners of my mind. I remember standing out in that field, spinning with my arms out until I fell ill. Good God. Oh, that explains so much. I don't care about sunsets. Focus, detective. What color are the eyes in this photo? Sir! The red! As I thought. This statue is a fake. Mr. LeBlanc!
What do you want? Do you not know I am a busy man? I allow you 2 seconds for your answer.
The Elephant Red. I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not?
It is the biggest trophy on this European trip. Do you know why I wanted to possess this statue? The trigger started 17 years ago.
And grab a chair, sir. Sounds like this is going to be a long story.
Gumshoe knows long stories, so everybody, yes, grab a folding one. Sit on down. Mr. LeBlanc, I regret to inform you, and you have my heartfelt sympathy, but...
What is that? Sympathy? For what?
You'll see. I'd like you to compare the eyes.
That large fellow there has very bright and pretty eyes compared to you.
I wasn't talking about the two of us. I meant the eyes of the statue in front of us and the ones in this photo.
Why the sudden yelling? Now then... Oh... Is it a... It is a photo of the statue on display at the museum in Europe.
Now do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? The statue before us is a fake.
A fake?
I believe that even further examination will be required. Now that we have confirmed that this is indeed a fake. There must be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Zengfa. And I will present to you evidence that will resolve the remaining contradiction. Oh, what else? What else is the proof? What else? Oh, hey, maybe there's... Oh. Interesting. I see that the tarp is over... Yes! Yes! There's the proof! Oh, wait. LeBlanc is likely partly colorblind, as he didn't notice. Oh, yeah, probably. No, I just noticed the tarp! Dude! What's this? The statue looks like it's stepping all over its neighbor's cloth cover.
It kind of resembles its own attitude in a sense, so...
You, what did you say now? Further, my clothing hem is not being stepped on by anyone. It is too expensive for me to allow that to happen.
Please forgive the trespasses of my subordinate.
Why should I forgive if the dress passes? Unless it is an expensive dress, you keep it.
Blah. Right, Deuce. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Yes, indeed, and the evidence is the fact that the package directly next to it literally comes from Zengfa. There is clearly a contradiction here. What are you going on about? It's just a simple case of a cargo cover getting stuck onto another piece of cargo. Think about it. Think about your numbers. 1, 2, 3.
That's not possible.
But it is. It shouldn't be this way, but the statue is on top of the cloth. Supposing that the neighboring piece of cargo was brought on board in Zengfa, there's no way that any part of it should wind up under something from Europe. Which means that this fake statue was smuggled on board in Zengfa.
But then, what about the cargo certificate?
Let me ask in return, what about Agent Hicks? Why did he come down here in the middle of the flight?
Uh-oh.
There's only one reason why There's only one reason why. To secure proof of smuggling activity aboard this flight.
So you say, but I don't believe he had to do that mid-flight. We could have just as easily inspected all the cargo after the plane landed.
That may be true. However, you have it backwards, Franziska. Sure, Agent Hicks could have waited until after the plane had landed. But he had a reason for coming down to the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake at the airport. It would have been after the swap had occurred. At that time, the suspicion would naturally fall onto the statue's owner, who would have no way to prove that the statue was switched without his knowledge. Which means there is someone involved who is forging or modifying cargo certificates. Boy, you are really... You know, it's funny, I think a little bit of just Phoenix's logic has really rubbed off on Edgeworth something fierce, because this is moonish. Hell.
I guess the victim knew the real version of this was gonna get nabbed, huh?
Yes, while this photo could be seen as nothing more than a simple souvenir, it was in fact taken to be used as a reference document later on. Ah, that's why he doesn't look very happy while he's standing in front of it. It's like, this is not fun tourism. Next, Agent Hicks had to secure proof that the smuggling had taken place. He came down here to take a picture of the cargo hold. Rather empty one at that, right before the fake statue could be loaded on board. A photo of the holds, missing a valuable piece of cargo, would have been proof enough. After that, all he had to do was hold the Zengfa cargo crew and arrest the smuggler. Exactly. This only goes to prove my theory. If the statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zengfa leg of the trip, there would have been enough height from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death.
Officer! Move this statue immediately! I want a thorough examination of the floor underneath. Now!
Welcome to fun. Miss Von Karma, I'm ready to report my findings. Go on. After moving the Aleph red statue out of the way, we tested the area under with luminol, and there was a reaction. Ha ha! I see. There was a reaction to luminol, an indication that there was blood in that spot. Boy, somebody tried to wipe it up.
Can we stop looking at it now, sirs?
It would seem that my deductions were correct after all. I suppose it would appear that way, begrudgingly. The culprit cleaned the blood up well. And how do you think the killer did that? I have the proof right here. Doop, 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 doop. The killer used the bloody cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess. I see. They had a need to clean up all the blood before the plane landed in Zengfa. Yes, because otherwise the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover.
So you guys are saying that the murder happened before the plane landed in Zengfa?
There's no other conceivable timeline for the events of the murder. But if that is true, that throws a certain person's testimony into doubt. If the murder occurred before we landed in Zengfa, then this becomes highly suspect. I'm trying to remember everybody's testimonies. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. We literally have proof. Hold on. Miss Meal's testimony specifies... Mr. Ackby Hicks was there in his seat when we took off again at 5 a.m. Would he have been? Recall Miss Meal's testimony about Agent Hicks in regard to when we departed Zengfa. I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 a.m., you know. She claims Agent Hicks was alive at the time of the service calls, but...
That totally contradicts the facts, sir!
But why would she lie about something like that? I think the only person who can answer that is Miss Meal herself. Oh boy, Sleepyhead. We're going to interview a Sleepyhead again. And save. Oh, good God. I have a Discord tab open, and private Discord tablet, like channel that I'm a part of. It has like a spam channel, and good God, they are posting a lot of spam right now. I keep looking up back and forth, just being like, what the hell is that? Anyways, enough distractions. March 12th, 3:35 p.m. Flight I-390, lower deck cargo hold.
Miss Meal. Miss Meal! Do you recall what you said earlier? About when you answered some service calls and we were departing from Zenfar? You said that Mr. Hicks was sitting in his seat at the time? However, that is simply not possible, because Mr. Hicks was dead long before we ever touched down in St. Far.
Oh.
Miss Cammy Meal.
Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did.
No one can make mistakes so large, Miss Meal.
I don't know, she's kind of a sleepyhead, so... But I make that kind of boo-boo all the time. This is going nowhere. There must be a better way of resolving this contradiction.
Very well. Miss Meal, if you please tell me about your alibi during this time span. From just before we were to land at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. when the body was found.
Are you telling me I'm a suspect, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes.
Oh, dear God. Yeah. From 3 to 4, I was, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self. Yeah. And from 5 to 6, I was, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self.
Boy, such detail.
How is a man supposed to react to a testimony like that? Miss Meal, wake up! She fell asleep again. Looks like the only way I'm going to be able to wake her up is by pressing her. Oh ho!
I'm gonna be pressing the... Oh, it's gonna be funny. Hold on. Save. This should be interesting. But pressing this shit of all things. But I'm too curious. I want to know what happens. Yeah.
Miss Meal, wake up!
I'm awake. I'm awake. I can go.
Miss Edgeworth, I demand that you do something about this flight attendant this instant.
Ask me to wake her when you can finally put that whip to an appropriate use.
That's a good point. Although I don't know. Is that? Oh my God. I don't know what's the legal statute of her having that whip, and I feel like that would be assault. I don't know. From 3 to 4, I was in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self.
If I remember correctly, food was being served in first class at the lounge between the hours of 3 and 4 a.m.
Yeah, but that kind of stuff was run by Miss Rhoda.
What were you doing in the attendance room at that time?
Eating and then having a most delicious dream.
You mean you weren't neglecting your duties?
No way. Sleep is part of our job too, you know? Clearly. Yeah.
Miss Meal, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Wake up!
Hey, I'm awake. I'm awake.
What'd you whip me for, sir?
Oh, yeah. What'd I miss?
A poor detective being on the receiving end of a lash in your stead.
Really? Sorry about that.
You can make amends for that by continuing with your testimony.
Okay. Wow. We're getting nothing.
So, you were alone the entire time, were you?
Yeah, no one else even popped their head in to say hi.
Oh, well, I think a contradiction just popped in to say hi. What should I do? Should I raise an objection?
I don't know. Alright, what piece of evidence? Oh, hey, hold on, wait a minute. Suitcase receipt. Bought at the in-flight shop and left the attendance room. Time sent says 5:40, and in that current time, it was brought up to that room. I would say yes. That would prove that she had somebody show up, right? I believe so.
Miss Meal, there's a clear contradiction embedded in your testimony.
What are you talking about?
It's not possible that you were alone in the attendance room the whole time from 5 to 6 a.m. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to take a look at this receipt, Miss Meal.
A receipt? For what?
It's for the suitcase Miss Tenero bought. Now, if I may direct your attention to the timestamp. As you can see, it clearly says 5:40 a.m., Miss Tenero.
Yes. Hi. Why is the killer here? I thought you'd have her locked up by now.
I requested that she be present as a witness so that we may straighten out your complex lie. Now then, Miss Tenero, between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m., you took a trip from first class down to the first floor in-flight shop, correct?
Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase. After which I went straight to the attendance room to drop it off.
And did you see Miss Meal there at the time?
No.
So, Miss Meal, where were you really between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m.?
Hey, guys, I'm tonight to the muskrats.
Miss Cammy Meal!
The bathroom?
I'll be the one to ask the questions here.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Probably just missed her. Nature calls, you know.
Did you take me for a fool? It's a little too convenient to be true.
It's the truth. Cross my heart.
I don't have enough conclusive proof to counter-argue her at this stage.
You don't believe me, do you? But please, won't you give me a chance and hear me out?
Oh, by all means, keep spouting words. I'm gonna keep kicking them back.
Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew. But you think that maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda too? She's the one in charge of the elevator key card at the shop, you know. If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious.
Please. Please leave Miss Tenero out of the conversation. Only you are under suspicion for now.
I don't get it. Why are you covering for Miss Rhoda all of a sudden? Oh, now I get it. Maybe you got your eye on Miss Rhoda.
Of course I'm keeping an eye on her. I can't very well let her escape, can I?
Never mind. You thick bastard. But you want to know something? Miss Rhoda actually kind of
I have absolutely no interest in people who can't appreciate my sense of design.
Alright, that settles that. Now's not the time for this sort of talk. Rebuttal. Alright, mass save, why not? Again. Keep it simple and keep it safe. Oh, Jesus. I'm just gonna say, the spam is still happening. And now there's just... Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not gonna show on the stream, but they're just posting, like, GIFs of, like, ridiculous anime boob physics. I have weird friends.
Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew.
No, it's not the only reason I have for suspecting you. Your statements regarding Mr. Hicks also turned out to be a bunch of lies.
I would say I wasn't an attendant. You wouldn't suspect me then, would you?
Yes, I suppose that's true enough. But you are.
But you think that maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda too?
I mean, I do, but you're on the chopping block right now. She's already being detained for further questioning. Or have you already forgotten?
Oh, yeah. I guess you're right. I forgot.
Cammy, don't tell me you suspect me too.
Sorry, I can't help it. I mean, other than you, there's no one else who could have done it.
I can't believe you would think that. I mean, me, a killer?
Miss Meal, what did you mean just now by no one else who could have done it? She's the one in charge of the elevator key car at the top, at the shop. You know, whatever.
And what are you in charge of, Miss Meal?
I take care of the attendance room.
That doesn't count.
No, but I spent so much time in there. It might as well be my responsibility.
Mr. Edgeworth, Cammy is very talented in languages, so she assists passengers who may not speak English. Especially those who speak Borzinian. She is the only one on this flight who is fluent.
Oh yeah, you mean that kind of, what am I in charge of? Why did you say so in the first place?
What else could I have meant?
Yeah, so I'm really good at Borzinian.
She's fluent in Borzinian.
That doesn't seem like a skill that she should be fluent in at all, but...
Then I suppose you're in charge of processing documents in Borzinian?
Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Borzinian.
Very interesting.
If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious.
Actually, your on-the-job behavior makes you super suspicious in my eye.
Why?
While Miss De Niro is busy with the passengers and all of her other duties, you have a lot of free time on your hands, thus providing you with ample time to commit the crime.
Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you cease and desist in this line of conjectural questioning. I won't allow you to bluff your way through this like a certain defense lawyer.
But I do not honestly believe Miss Meal does any actual work aboard this flight.
Oh, that's not true, Mr. Edgeworth. Although, well, all I'm in charge of are the attendance drones and some Borzinian stuff.
So, what exactly do you do as the one in charge of some Borzinian stuff?
I do stuff like translate things from and into Borzinian.
Cammy is the only member of the crew who understands Borzinian, Mr. Edgeworth.
Miss Meal, I take it then that it is your job to process all the Borzinian paperwork.
Yeah, I think I totally pull my weight around here.
So it would appear. Perhaps I should ask her for a few more details about her work and... Miss Meal, it's very unladylike to push suspicion onto someone else.
That's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just saying that Miss Rhoda is very
There you go, pushing everything onto her again.
Jesus.
I mean, again, there's a lot of suspicion being thrown around, but, you know, she's not in the clear either, right?
I don't get what you're saying. It's a really abstract concept.
The only thing abstract here is the landscape inside your head.
Right. I'm in charge of the attendance, romance, and Borzinian stuff. Yeah, I know what we're hinting at here. Yes, the Alfred certificate. Document in Borzinian. Says statue was loaded on board in Europe. But statue is fake. She does Borzinian stuff. There we go.
So you are the only one in this flight crew that speaks Borzinian. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess so. I studied Borzinian for a while.
If that is the case, then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? This is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose: to lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Borzinian is you, Miss Meal. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Alfred could not have occurred.
Faking to the end, I see.
Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you.
Oh, shit. Oh, I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. It is exactly as you say.
Are you confessing to having participated in the smuggling?
No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on the document. But you can't use that fact alone to make your allegation of smuggling stick. There's no direct correlation after all. All you have is my signature on a piece of paper.
Really? All you did was sign it?
I neglected to check if the cargo had been loaded onto the plane properly. So, sorry about that.
Seems that she's finally woken up. This is going to be one tough fight.
Suppose. This is just a suspicion. Even if I was involved in the smuggling, you can't throw the charge of murder on me just like that. If you were involved in the smuggling, you would have a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring. And just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhoda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things on this plane for work purposes.
So perhaps there is some element of a setup at play in this case?
What are you talking about?
Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you. I meant the killer. First it was myself, and now it's Mr. Nero who is under the microscope. Seems to me that our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can.
You have no proof that Rhoda is being set up, or that she isn't.
Actually, I believe that she was indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe that the plan was to push all the blame for the crime onto her. And this evidence will prove my suspicion. This proves that the killer was out to frame Mr. Nero from the very beginning.
Oh, dear. I would say it would probably be the piggy bank, considering she is one of the people that is... I mean, we can clearly tell that this thing was not used in the murder, and it was clearly planted as sort of a thing that could have possibly been the murder weapon, and it's in the jurisdiction of one of the only people that is capable of going down there. I think.
This piece of evidence will answer all our questions.
Are you asleep presenting or something, Mr. Edgeworth?
No, as you can plainly see, I am wide awake.
I'm afraid you failed. You were making so little sense that I thought maybe you were asleep.
Shit. Good, talk about a Dr. Sleepy Mr. Hyde-esque transformation. Is this it? Wasn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? I need to stay calm, think carefully, and then present the condemning evidence.
Okay. So it wasn't that. It's gotta be something else. Alright, what was the original thing that put her on this? I think it might be the iFly suitcase. It might be. Yeah. Because the iFly suitcase... Well... I guess if she was progressive enough, she could have factored all this stuff in. Didn't hide the blood garb all that well, and instead just sort of stuffed it into the suitcase. Hid it at a scene where the statue could have been commandeered. I think it might be the suitcase this time. All right.
The killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body up from the lower deck to the first floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? The only way all these actions make sense is if the killer had wanted to frame Mr. Nero for the murder. Mr. Nero buys a suitcase on every flight she works without fail. But should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the victim's body, that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There wasn't enough time to put the body back in the suitcase. Ergo, they made do with whatever was at hand, adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight shop, and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. A lot of work for a fruitless endeavor, wouldn't you agree?
Sounds like the killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why'd the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway?
That is because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. What special circumstances dictated the need for the killer to frame someone? Where the murder took place. When the murder took place. Who the murder victim was.
I don't know where and when. I really do think the important thing here is the fact that this person was a part of freaking Interpol.
The killer was at a loss of what to do with Agent Hicks's body, but as it just so happened, there was a bunch of empty suitcases nearby. Being a skinny man, the killer thought to put his body in the suitcase and hand it off.
You mean that the whole plan to frame someone was an elaborate coincidence?
No, that's not what I said. You've wrongly deduced my meaning, Miss Meal.
The one with the wrong deduction is you. Think before you speak again.
My God. Okay. I was going somewhere else with that, but fine.
Patience, Francisca. I was about to reveal the truth.
Well, good thing I have a lot of health. And they are very lenient with this game. Like, I don't think have I gotten to a point where I have even lost, like, half of my health? Or, like, less than half? I know I've gotten to about half. But I don't know if I've passed over it. Maybe I did. Anyways. What special circumstance dictated the need for the killer to frame someone? When and where? I mean, I could literally try either of these. Let's try and think about this logistically. I guess when... Where? Okay, where it doesn't make a whole lot of... Well... since she can't even get down there in the beginning because she doesn't have clearance, but... I'd say when, because she doesn't have a very good alibi with that.
The murder took place before the movie was scheduled to go on. Around that time, almost all the passengers had returned to their seats. Therefore, the killer had to choose someone who was not at their seat to frame.
Isn't that an explanation for how the killer chose who and not why they had to?
Well, I thought it best to start from there.
If we're gonna talk about completely unrelated matters, you mind if I take a nap?
Hold on. Oh, my Jesus.
Wow, I am batting zero today.
The special circumstance is simply that the murder took place on a plane mid-flight. No matter which country, customs is quite strict in this day and age. So no matter what you do, the chance that the body will be found is very high. Therefore, there was no choice but to frame either Mr. Nero or myself. In other words, the only one who fits with the boundaries of this criminal's movements is not Mr. Nero or myself, but you, Miss Cammy Meal. Only you and you alone could be the killer.
And? Are you done already? I was about to fall asleep again. Anyway, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me other than a whole ass circumstantial evidence. Sorry, I am kind of sleepy.
I can see the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. And isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Something that I still can't quite fit into this big picture.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this for a while. It's that cell phone. Where the heck did that go?
I don't have any actual evidence.
I thought not.
But that's because it went missing. And still is.
Missing? What do you mean by that?
In the complex puzzle that is this case, there was one piece I kept getting stuck on. And that is the victim's cell phone. Francisca, You were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Agent Hicks' cell phone. Or at least, that's what you told me.
That's right.
But Agent Hicks' cell phone could not be found at the crime scene.
You mean the killer took the phone with them?
Precisely. I suspect that if we were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer.
Come on, get serious. What, you don't have it? If the victim fell to his death from the height, wouldn't his phone break as well?
No! That's oddly presumptuous of you.
Funny enough, this looks like a freaking Nokia, like, old-ass phone. It doesn't look like one of those newfangled iPhones. Or one of those phones that has glass all around it to make sure it's extra brittle.
We won't know that until we try a little experiment, will we? Forensics, I'd like to ask for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not?
Of course I do. Oh, boy.
Agent Hicks' phone! It's ringing from somewhere, sir!
I hear it, Detective. No, where's it coming from? Let's see. Binaural audio. Save me. Trying to listen into this, but it doesn't sound like it's any better or worse anywhere. Oh, okay. It's in the flight attendants from Oopsies. Do. Somebody watch her. Make sure she doesn't run away. March 12th, 4:12 p.m. Flight I-390, first floor, flight attendants room.
The ringing's coming from somewhere in here, sir.
Oh, I'm sure she probably planted it in, not her luggage.
Leave no stone unturned, Detective Gumshoe. We must find it. Doesn't seem to be over here. Let's look somewhere else, sir.
I wonder if it might be inside the suitcase.
I don't hear any sounds coming from inside, sir.
I don't suppose the culprit would have been so dumb as to try the same trick twice. These boxes. Doesn't seem like the phone got mixed in with the pile of lost and found. Yeah.
Well, it's not like the victim would just dropped it somewhere, right, sir?
No. What about the lockers?
The ringing's coming from in here, sir!
What? No, it can't be.
This has got to be the victim's cell phone. Just whose locker is this, sir?
It's Miss Tenero's.
What?
It was planted. It had to have been planted. Somebody get fingerprints on this thing. March 12th, 4:28 p.m. Flight to I-390, lower deck, cargo hold. Crap. So, Mr. Edgeworth, how'd it go? Where'd you find the phone?
I found it in the flight attendant's room. In Miss Tenero's locker.
What? Rhoda Tenero! I don't know anything about the phone. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Miss Von Karma, is it? I suggest you arrest Miss Rhoda Tenero right away.
Wait! I have a theory! This is related to the incident with the keycard. When the killer went to steal the keycard, they conveniently stashed the cell phone in Miss Tenero's locker at the same time.
This is related to the keycard, alright? In the same way that we have zero proof that the killer did just that. The only voice that sings the truth is evidence. That is the one bird we cannot ignore. Ah, crap.
What should I do? Francisca's right. I can't offer baseless conjecture at this point. Alright then. Why did the culprit take the cell phone from Agent Hicks? Must have something very incriminating on or in it.
Hold it. What now, Miles Edgeworth?
It's not over yet. We've yet to figure out why the killer took the phone.
What?
Inside this phone lies the final piece of incriminating evidence that will point us to our killer. We need to examine this phone in more detail.
Oh, joy. Oh, hi. Cracked screen. Yes, that kind of proves the idea that it fell from a big ol' height.
The LCD is broken. Is that a screen? You can't even place a call with this.
I don't know. The funny thing is, I remember one time, my smartphone ended up being broken. And good God, that was a nightmare because it partially worked, but most of the screen just didn't. What else is going on? Oh, nice camera.
Ah, it's a camera lens. Come to think of it, I wonder, how exactly was Agent Hicks planning to preserve the crime scene of a smuggling? Franziska, I need you to confirm something. This cell phone, can it take pictures?
Dear, can this thing with a camera on it take pictures? I need to know.
Mr. Edgeworth, I can't believe you don't know about this kind of base stuff, sir.
This looks like a very similar model to my own. And mine can take photos just fine.
Do you think Agent Hicks could have taken some pictures with this? In particular, pictures as evidence for his smuggling case? If so, I'd say there may be some very inconvenient photos in here for our killer smuggler. But the phone's all busted up, sir.
Even a super prosecutor can't repair a broken phone. Ah, shit.
I'll find a way, don't you worry about that.
May I go back to sleep now?
No.
The LCD screen on the inside and outside are broken, that's for sure. That's also reason enough to believe that the killer wasn't able to erase the data.
What? What do you mean by that, Franziska?
It looks like our killer isn't very familiar with electronics. The phone still rang when I called it, meaning that only the LCD screen is broken. It's possible that the photos are still in there. Yes, they're inside, waiting to be assessed. Yes. Somebody connect this thing to, developer Android or something. All we need to do is transfer the data to my phone. Was that possible with old phones? I might be blanking on this, but that actually does not sound like it would be. I suppose with new Androids you could probably find a cable able to do that, but in this day and age?
Franziska, your phone, if you please.
Very well. It's transferring. Alright, displaying it now.
I like this music.
Yeah, okay. So clearly there's nothing there.
This is...
Agent Hicks was most certainly trying to obtain some evidence for a smuggling case.
Hey, the Alfred's nowhere in this picture.
Confirmed. But this has no meaning as a piece of evidence in the murder case, right?
Oh, she's right. There's not much we can find out from this about Agent Hicks' killer, sir. Is this it? Is this the end?
Well, let's take a closer look.
Is there really nothing in this photo that we can use?
Well, there's the bed sheets, clearly. Okay, wait a minute.
Miss Von Karma, who's this Albert?
Shut up, Miles Edgeworth. Okay, what do we have here? That looks just like a rivet. I was just... Is that a bullet hole? No. There weren't any guns in this. Well, we clearly have the suitcases lined here. And the bed sheets. And that crap. Let's examine crap.
The fact that all the suitcases are here in this photo is odd.
Agent Hicks was still alive at the time. So what exactly is so odd about suitcases that haven't been used yet being here?
Yes, well, I was only pointing out
there are different... there are different between now and then. Your off-topic ramblings have put this attendant to sleep yet again, Miles Edgeworth.
I'll give Sleepyhead here a rude awakening.
A defending objection. Jesus. Where did my words go? Okay, let's think about it. Kind of weird that something is here, of all places. There's supposed to be a different piece of evidence located in this. You know, the even bigger thing. Actually, no, that actually makes sense. If the flight crew moved it after the killing had occurred, and then put the gigantic statue there, and then somehow the replica red was put down, no, that timelines, that makes sense. I think, okay, no, the weird thing is the fact that the bed sheets appear to be in front of all this stuff, because they weren't there before. Maybe boxes of bed sheets. These are still in the cargo hold. There's nothing unusual about them in particular, but I can't shake the feeling. I'm just playing around. Mind if I go home? Yes, I mind. I need to focus on what's different now from back then. Ah, balls. Well, I mean, clearly this is different. What's all this? Meh. Oh, they are a cargo ship from Borginia to Zhengfa. So the reason they aren't here now is that they were dropped off in Zhengfa. Mr. LeBlanc, can you tell me the contents of the boxes? Unfortunately, there is no English written on them anywhere.
One cluster of boxes is written in Borginian. It says... It is cloth in English.
Cloth. Could it be? Is this where the killer...
What? What for is that scary face?
Miss Meal.
Yes?
It appears that Agent Hicks was no ordinary investigator. He left us with a piece of evidence after all. A striking piece that will point out who his killer is.
Maybe you shouldn't force your mistake in reading a simple picture, Mr. Edgeworth.
The Borginian cargo and this piece of evidence will point us straight to the killer. I don't see it much, but I understand where he's going with this. And what is that supposed to prove? The killer used this piece of cloth to wipe up the blood they had spilt. But there was one thing that bothered me this whole time. Where did it come from? And now I have finally found my answer in this very photo. None of the boxes look like they've been opened, but okay. The cargo that was unloaded to Zhengfa had cloth written on it. In a Borginian, that is. And this is where the killer grabbed a piece from to clean up the blood with. And who's the only person that would know cloths in the box? That's right. The killer was someone who could read and understand Borginian. And the only crew member that fits that description is you, Miss Camille. Hold it.
That's pretty flimsy. The killer probably searched through all the boxes looking for something to use. They all look pretty clean and tidy. When you're frantic, you don't care if the box is in English or Borginian.
Sorry, but I cannot agree with your assessment of the killer's indiscriminate nature.
What?
There was no need for the killer to tear through boxes at random at all. And if the killer supposedly could not comprehend Borginian, well then... logically, the killer would have opened this box first. Very nice. Picture was taken before the murder and the boxes are gone now. Yes. That makes sense. S. Bed sheets. Clean the blood.
Hey, it says bed sheets in English right on the box, sir.
Precisely. And bed sheets would be perfect for cleaning the blood, wouldn't you say?
So what were you trying to say?
That if I were the criminal, this box of bed sheets would have been what I would have spotted first.
However, the killer chose to use some Borginian cloth. Do you have an explanation for that?
The killer didn't want anyone to know that the real scene of the crime was this cargo hold. So they were afraid to leave signs that the box with the sheets had been opened. However, the Borginian cloth, well, that's a horse of a different color.
Because the killer knew that it was going to be unloaded in the Republic of Zhengfa.
That's right. This is why the Borginian cloth was used. And the only Borginian reader on board who could make such a calculated decision is you, Camille! You and you alone!
It would be very easy for us to confirm if any of the boxes were resealed. All we would have to do is contact the Zengfa authorities in time. We may even find other evidence to incriminate our killer within those boxes. So, what do you say, Miss Meal? Why not confess to your crime here and now? Or would you rather wait and see what we find from our investigation in Zengfa?
Bubbles! Pass out, please.
No!
Oh, whoa. I think we got her.
He was Interpol. I couldn't stop it. I brought him here. He started taking pictures. I couldn't be found out. I was scared. I was in trouble. I
Way to panic, sleepy lady. March 12th, 5:26 p.m. Flight I-390, first floor lounge.
We finished making all the arrangements to take the suspect in, sir.
Very good, Detective. What about the smuggling route? Did she say anything about that?
They're taking her down to the precinct now. Hopefully we can get more out of her there. Whenever we even approached the topic, she just started foaming at the mouth. Yeah, it was scary, sir.
She probably wasn't prepared to commit a murder all of a sudden. One thing is for sure, the ring behind the whole mess means serious business. It looks like there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye. Hello, ma'am.
Mr. Edgeworth. I just wanted to say how much I appreciated everything you did. Thank you very much.
It was nothing. In fact, I should be the one thanking you for your cooperation.
But truly, if it wasn't for you, I might not be here right now. Instead, I can continue to serve our passengers as a flight attendant. I hope that... Well, please accept this as a token of my appreciation.
That's...
I see. You don't have to take it if you don't want it.
No, I mean, I would never turn down a lady's generous offer.
Oh, thank you.
Way to push blame and push, just a mountain of guilt on him.
I'm sure it will serve you well. And remember, we here at iFly Airlines are always ready to serve, Mr. Edgeworth.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
Now I must bid you farewell. May all your skies be blue, no matter where you go.
Good day, madam.
I can't believe we wound up investigating the whole day, sir, but boy, it was fun.
Fun, more like strenuous. I could have potentially been labeled as a murderer.
Speak for yourself. My day was filled with earthquakes, elevators, and false charges.
By the way, where's Franziska?
Oh, she's filling out some custom paperwork for her departure.
Customs forms, rather.
Departure? Yeah, Miss Von Karma's always really busy, sir. She's been flying from country to country to chase down some leads regarding her case.
Detective, can you cancel the car I had you reserve earlier?
You got it, sir.
Are we off again? Sep. Franziska.
I thought I told you when you first landed. I have no time for idle chatter.
I have no intention of wasting your time. However, it has been a while since we last met.
I also have no time for such familiar reminiscence. So who do you think I am?
You are Franziska Von Karma, a very proud prosecutor deserving of much respect, good God.
Until only a little while ago, I was but a wretched mutt who was always losing to you. A dancing Perot, living her life on the name and fame her invincible father built.
True. Your father, Manfred von Karma, didn't lose a single case for 40 years as a prosecutor.
However, I wouldn't say he was invincible.
What are you talking about? The group I'm on the trail of is a little more troublesome than most. Smuggling route we found this time is only one sliver of the big picture.
Sounds like a dangerous assignment.
You really don't have to worry. I can take care of myself.
Yes, I suppose you can.
Plus, there's another agent on this case with me.
Oh, another agent?
He's a star among Interpol agents, and has the highest successful arrest rate. Who knows? You may even run into him one day.
I was simply caught up in this one case. I hardly see why we would cross paths.
I suppose. But I doubt he would say the same.
I'm not following you. What I'm saying is, you're in shit deep at this point. You have nothing that you can do.
You'll understand soon enough. The flight has only just begun.
Oh, fight rather. Good God. I am so sick of planes.
I'll be back in this country soon enough. And when I am, you can be sure I'll pay you back. In full.
Good day, she-witch.
And just like that, she's gone. Thank goodness. I can finally rest easy knowing I won't have to watch out for a whip.
Detective Gumshoe, I want to thank you for all your help and cooperation.
Oh, it's nothing, sir. I was just happy to be able to work with you again. I think I'm gonna go celebrate by adding a little extra salt to my instant noodles tonight.
Boy, that's treating yourself. What do I do to treat myself? Soda. There we go. There.
How much did you cut his salary by, Franziska? Detective, I was wondering if you might give me a ride down to the prosecutor's office.
Sure thing, sir. I'll even fly down the road in the patrol car if you want.
Don't make me remind you, Detective.
Safety first.
Thus I solved the first case upon my arrival home. Franziska von Karma, the smuggling route she was after. The leaders of that ring had already put their trump card into play, and the players on the other side of the war, they would begin to make themselves known through the next incident.
Oh, dear. Didn't expect anything more after a little bit of dialogue.
Edgewood speaking.
Finally, I called. I have no idea who the hell this is. I called who knows how many times earlier, but I couldn't get through.
And you are...
Oh, Miles, my boy. Plenty of people say my boy in the series. I don't know which one it could be. Ernest Amano.
Oh, God. Oh, is that a name I should be recognizing?
Ernest Amano. Okay, please tell me if this is somebody I should know. Please, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't seem to recall that name in any of the other games. No, it's a new character. Thank God. I'm just like, good, my brain isn't gone. Yeah, so you do remember me. I know it's rather sudden, but I can't ask this of anyone else. It's been an incident, Miles. My son, he's been kidnapped. Oh, dears. Well, I guess we will figure that out on the next time I stream. Because I've been streaming for a while, and I gotta go get something to eat. This is a good place to kind of just cap it off. I like working in chapters. But this has been fun. I've seen snippets of, like, where is the box? I think I put the box away. Oh, hey, there's a new silhouette. I've seen pictures of the new characters on the boxes. I have no idea who this next person's going to end up being. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see. But we're going to check that out next week. But thanks for coming out and watching the stream. I appreciate it. If you want to take a look at this after it's done, honestly, this was pretty straightforward. So I'm probably going to be uploading this fairly raw. And I'll be uploading it after it's done processing. Might, like, trim down the beginning and the end of the video. I do that sometimes just for patience sake. I stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays.
All starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And some other stuff that I'm playing. West of Loathing, which... That game's getting weird. We are now dealing with clowns and horrible monstrosities and just circus freaks that I didn't expect to see in a freaking stick figure western. It's like spaghetti people western. I need to get back to Breath of the Wild. That's another thing. Still waiting on the Stardew Valley multiplayer. I have plans of doing the multiplayer when that comes out, and I'm so pumped, so jonesed. What else? Okay, of course I'm playing this. Funny enough, I've really been itching to do more Hat in Time mods just because it was really fun. Problem is, it can be a little bit of a pain because Nintendo loves their Content ID on their music, and people use Nintendo Music a lot. But I don't know. Anyways, I think I'm going to call it for tonight. Again, thanks for coming out. See you next time.